Hey guys, the purpose of this video is to look at the basics of evaluating expressions when you're given variables and then you're told what to substitute in for them. Please copy down these examples as we work through them. Alright, you'll see instructions that say things like evaluate the expressions when, then they give you some values. They'll say A equals 2, B equals -3, and C equals 6. And then they'll give you an expression, like we see right here for number 1, that says A plus B plus C. And guys, all we have to do here is take each of these values and substitute them in to this expression, and then evaluate it, or simplify it, or solve it maybe. So for A, I'm going to put in 2 plus B, I'm going to put in -3, and then plus C, I have 6. And now all I have to do is add these numbers together. I could use tiles, or I could just add them if I know how. I'm going to do tiles here quick. I have 2 plus -3 plus 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Cross out my 0 pairs, and I am left with +5. All right, let's try another one. This one says AC plus B. Well, one thing that's important to note is that that is talking about multiplication. I'm going to write that up here. When you see two variables written side by side, that tells you that you're multiplying them. So for A, we're going to put in 2, and for C, we're going to put in 6, and then we're going to add the value of B, which was -3. And now we solve this expression. 2 times 6 is 12, and we add -3. And I know 12 plus -3 is the same as 12 minus 3, which leaves me with an answer of 9. All right, couple more here. These expressions have the absolute value symbol in them, so let's see how that changes things. The beginning is still the same. We take each of the values of x, y, and z, and we substitute them in. But what we want to make sure that we do all the time is that we rewrite the expression with those values in for the letters. So we're going to write our absolute value symbol, and then instead of x, we're going to write 5, plus, instead of z, we're going to write -2. I like to keep that in parentheses so it doesn't all run together. So then I have an expression inside of the absolute value symbols. Okay, don't forget about these guys here. And what we do here, you guys, is we just solve what's inside of there first. So we take this 5 plus -2. Well, I know that that's 3. And now we need to find the absolute value of that expression. And so I think to myself, how far away is 3 from 0 on the number line? Oh yeah, that's 3. All right, let's try that with number 4. So for y, we're going to sub in -4, plus for x, we're going to use 5, plus now we just have the absolute value of z. So I'm going to write the absolute value of -2. Notice how I recopied this entire thing exactly as it was and just plugged in the values for each of the letters. All right, now I'm going to simplify this expression. I see that I have -4 plus 5, and that's 1, and then I have plus the absolute value of -2. Well, the absolute value of -2 is just 2, and so now I'm left with 1 plus 2, which is 3. All right, and then our last one here, we have the opposite, because it's on the outside there, the opposite of the absolute value of x plus z. So again, we substitute in the values for each. So I have negative, and then I have my absolute value symbol. Instead of x, I put 5, plus, instead of z, I put -2, and my absolute value symbol again. Now this one looks a lot like number 3, but you'll notice there is something different here. This negative sign is on the outside of the absolute value symbol. So I'm going to do it like I did before, simplify what's inside, 5 plus -2, that's just 3. But I still have that absolute value symbol, and I still have the negative to bring down. So now I'm looking at this as the opposite of the absolute value of 3. Well, the absolute value of 3 is 3, but I need to bring that negative over because of that negative on the outside. All right, so we'll do a lot more of these in class, but this just gives you the general intro to what this looks like when we evaluate expressions. Thanks for watching, and as always, let me know if you have questions.